You're welcome back from that quick timeout. It's actually time for us to look at the newspaper, our dailies today, and look at the stories that have made it to the headlines. Now, starting off with Daily Trust. On the front page, we have concerns as 43 die of food poisoning in 2 weeks. Farmers, agric workers blame hoarding, importation of substandard items. Federal government warns against indiscriminate use of preservatives. Avoid expired products, says NMA. Still on the front page, we have more Yobe farmers take delivery of Governor May Malabuni's agric empowerment. And then we have some pictures there to, depict that. We see farmers with rice and tractors and all of that. And then there's also an infographic down there talking about the distribution of the products. Actually, we'll be calling for transparency. So I think this is a detailed breakdown of how the products were being distributed across different local governments there in Yobe State. I think that's the story that made it to the headline for Daily Trust.
All right, we're looking at the Punch newspaper next, and the Punch is staying with the issues around NNPC. NNPC reports 9.3 trillion petrol import as queues lingers. Petrol subsidy gulps 3.3 trillion. NNPC incurs 1.8 trillion energy security cost. Port Harcourt, Warri Depot receive PMS, tax force arrest black marketers. Producers decline sales of 460,000 barrels per day crude to Dangote orders. Forex shortage, domestic airlines ground 42 aircraft. Akume Edun lead local government autonomy implementation panel. And to other stories, 5 banks budget 222 billion for cybersecurity. 1 dies at Ogun Hunters headers clash. And 2027 APC kicks as PDP backs call for Jonathan's return. Those are the stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper.
All right, now quickly let's look at the Guardian. It says custom sports rate adoption. Duty FX rate shifts 100 times in 2024, spike prices of goods by 120%. Prices remain sticky over high FX rates, frequent changes, and uncertainty. We also have amid hardship, Bauchi distributes SUVs to 6 emirs, right there on the front page of Guardian. And then we also have don't provoke strike with handling of Ajero's invitation, NLC cautions police. And then Tinubu's foreign trip cost Nigeria 2.3 billion naira in 6 months. Now, these are a few of the stories on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Now, joining us this morning to look and dissect the headline stories, we have Ben Shemang, Program Director, Daily Trust Foundation. As he joins. Okay.
Former Director, Voice of Nigeria, Director, News Voice of Nigeria. It's a pleasure to have you join us this morning.
It's a pleasure to have you join us. I apologize.
Increase my CV. Viewers, take note.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, now kicking off first, I think I'll start with the one that spiked my interest. We saw the presidential jet, and then we're seeing that despite economic hardship, Nigerians are crying. And then we're seeing here on The Guardian where it says that SUVs have been given to emirs in Bauchi, despite Nigeria. We saw a story of people picking wild leaves to eat. So what's your take on that?
You know this saying, for unto those that have shall much be given unto those who don't have, snatch from them. That is the meaning of capitalism in Nigeria. And it's serious that when people are in their need, looking for food, ours is to exhibit affluence, buy presidential jets, buy sports utility vehicles, for those who already have. I think quite a lot of things are wrong, and that's why was it Oshumole who said it, or Bishop Kuka? You have made it so much, snatching from the very low. Now you have fences around your houses. In the night, these poor people want to come take what you took away from them in the daytime. Society, therefore, is in turmoil. I think that voters deserve a very better deal than what we are seeing today. It is just not it. Aeroplanes are not the priority of Nigeria. We should take time to feed Nigerians. And I tell you what, look, where I come from, I have a small farm, a plot, something like this studio. I planted local beans that twice now I'm harvesting. Why is it that we can't expand that in Nigeria and feed people? You know, I've seen Yobe governor. The example is good. You are giving fertilizers to farmers. It's good plan. That's how to conquer hunger. But when you begin to, buy aeroplane, what does it say about our gross domestic product? Are we producing, or we are just importing? We are just consumers. That is just the truth.
All right. The Daily Trust this morning is going with rather a human interest story, away from all that is happening. In the last 2 weeks, 43 persons have died of food poisonings.
It's a serious matter. Now, look, the moment you begin to have a harvesting period, like now, people have harvested maize and you're now packaging and putting all sorts of chemicals. You store them. Suddenly there's a problem. The chemicals you put in there are supposed to last 6 months, 1 year, but suddenly you have a problem. You know it very well in your house, you won't consume it. You just sell it to the buyers. You have your money, solve your problem. Others are mourning. You know, it's a serious matter, and that's why we expect that the health experts, those who are supposed to go into the market, they should be able to do all of that. Now, look at it. I went to the village. I just saw that this jute, the Hausa man calls it rama, and hibiscus. You just realize that is what is it now in Hausa? You know, that they use in Zobo. You just see that the moment it sprouts, it coils, it changes colors. You just see holes or perforations here and there. Now, it also says something about the chemicals we are spraying. Some of our okra, they are not doing very well. Something is wrong somewhere. You look at ginger, it's just drying just like that in a rainy season. I know something is wrong. So when you begin to say, okay, it was over-hoarded, you know, well, if you overhoard rice, I don't know, rice hardly gets spoiled. I don't know, I need to be schooled on that. But beans can go bad, yes. But the level we are in Nigeria, hardly will you hoard for a year or two, waiting for what? You know, so I think too that the health experts, those who are supposed to visit these markets, do we talk of standards? What is it that we have to look at when it comes to, grains that are in the market? Is there an equipment, or are there equipment that we can randomly pick some and test to see the content of any poison in it? So these are things we ought to look at as a Ministry of Health, Ministry of Agriculture, and all that. Yes.
All right. Now, the story on the front page of Punch says NNPC reports 9.3 trillion petrol import as queues linger. We see that queues are still lingering. They're still talking of importation. We're still hearing stories of subsidy. What do you make about all of that that's happening when it comes to petrol and crude oil in Nigeria at the moment?
You know, the thing they say, the more you look, the more you get confused because you will not understand. That is how you can best describe NNPC. That last week was telling us they made after tax how much trillions, not billions, trillions, Abi, as profit. So why is that not being translated to the realities on ground? You go to some places, you buy fuel over 1,000 naira per liter and more than. Now, we also see marketers, crude oil marketers saying, you cannot force us to sell crude to Dangote and even modular refineries. It's only in Nigeria where some people will come, take your crude and say you cannot do anything. The tenant is becoming so strong than the landlord. That is what these people are doing. Now tell me, is it the president who went to Equatorial Guinea last week? The day before yesterday, he's in France. You passed through you went to the airport by road. All those queues, was it Tea Party? Or we're talking of a systemic problem that needs a solution? You know, when he sees that, doesn't he ask questions? Are the tinted glasses in his vehicle allowing him not to see? I think that the president, we need to have a very, very pro-humane kind of government. And when you came, it was a subsidy gone. Nigerians were thinking that, okay, prices would therefore go down because many things would have taken place. The reverse is the case. Why is it that in Nigeria we are just like that? And all we do is import. I can see Niger Republic, they're saying that they have to be one of the best refining country of petrol in the world. Ghana, as we are talking, they're starting a version of Dangote refinery, and the market, see, in the end, we are probably going to import refined petrol from Niger or Ghana. Africa, #1 crude oil producer in Africa, a strong member of OPEC. But when it comes to the leadership, we want to struggle to be OPEC Secretary General. We want to, all those places will occupy them. But back home, what is it that we have to show, not to the world, to the Nigerian? Because we cannot, tell me that you have Dangote, but his house, his wife, his children, grandchildren, that they are not feeding well. Dangote of all people. Copy and paste to Nigeria. That with all this wealth, some diseases that we can handle, cholera, we can't handle. Malaria, we can't handle. What education, we can't handle. What really?
Interesting.
Things
all
are
right.
wrong.
Still staying around that place, we were just celebrating how we got inflows of $500 million from remittances, but 42 commercial air flight planes are grounded because they can't find forests to do regular maintenance outside this country. When are we going to get out of this kind of vicious cycle?
Honestly, when we also have not just orientation, reorientation, we need to delete some things in our mindset and download some other new things. Outside that, truly, corruption is just too humongous that we can't handle. Tell me that in a religious place like the Muslim pilgrim board, you go and say you're doing some subsidy there, but the leadership, you've stolen how much? I think in this same place, as I see, all those religious, they have to do some soul searching. You're going on holy pilgrimage. Religion it is that sometimes we kill ourselves. Religion it is that we go segregation. Religion it is that we say, no, you don't belong to my camp. When indeed it says, your neighbor. Who is my neighbor?
All right.
You know, not even the person you know. The Muslim world, they will say, count 7 houses this way, 7 this way. If that you are counting 7, that one is counting 7. And the Christian says, look, anybody around you is your neighbor. Why are we in this?
All right. Finally, before we let you go this morning, is the issue of the move to arrest Joe Ajero. And the NLC is warning that do not provoke another national strike with this arrest. What do you make of this latest move?
You see, I will not use my head to break coconut for somebody to eat. If along the line, the police are saying they've seen something, come, just obey the law. I just go. What is it? Not be me. After all, they said they were pursuing a Sudanese. When did Ajero become a Sudanese? So, if there was a joint project between Ajero and the Sudanese, just clear your name. It ends there. But when you begin to recruit everybody, Nigerians will suffer over. I mean, it's just go clear your name. But where I also fault the police is when you invite, as if you don't come, we are coming to arrest you. You're already intimidated. You know. So make it civil, and that's why I think they should remove Nigerian police force. That word force, Nigerian police service, like immigration, so that it becomes a service kind of a thing and not a force. If you check, there's the man called the Pelian, mother of modern policing. He tells you the best police setup is where you go to a police station, you don't see detainees because you've already hindered the crimes from taking place. Therefore, you have nobody to arrest. But when you come to our places, broken down vehicles, everybody
I like that analogy. The IGP is also a scholar, like a scholar in the studio, and I'm sure he would listen to some of these refined suggestions coming from our very own Mr. Ben Sherman, former or retired director, Voice of Nigeria, but not tired. Definitely not tired. Thank you very much for finding time to stop by.
That's why the military, you don't call them retired Major General. You said Major General retired.
Okay.
If you say
Mr.
retired, it means it was
retired. Thank you very much for coming to the studio as always, and for all the sacrifices you made. We don't take them for granted, especially if you have to queue for fuels to show up to provide some of these insights. And to our viewers at home, we want to also thank you for finding the fuels to power your televisions and allow us free access to your living room. We know what public electricity can be, and we know how much sacrifice you made to continue to stay up with issues, especially glued to Trust Television. We will come your way again tomorrow with more interesting issues to discuss and ponder upon as a country. But until then, I'm Sunday Michael Ogu.
And I am Lilian Ogazi. Thank you so much for joining us. At the top of the hour, we're going to have Ajisha Fair with sport news, and then we'll also have business and news updates. So please stick around to Trust Television. We have a lot more packed for you today. Thank you for joining us. Do have a great day ahead.